And also Japanese pronunciations, makurunarudo and godiva. We say McDonald's and Godiva. So it's really awkward for me whenever I hear the Japanese pronunciations.
That's my southern hospitalities. I bring a side dish. But I'm not going to help you set up in your own. That's awkward. That's your job.
I went to like hug him when we parted ways on the subway and he kind of like pushed me away and I'm like, whoa, oh my god, he hates me.
They go do their nomikai or whatever and they drink all the beers and then they sleep on the sidewalk and then they get up the next day and go back to work.
Okay, so my next question is gonna be, is there anything that you guys are surprised the way Japanese people work?
The way they like office workers?
Yes.
I'm trying really hard to talk about something.
She's writing.
That's don't tell me, this is so mean. Okay, I'm gonna look. I don't know.
Okay.
So I wasn't surprised by Japanese people working hard because that's like a stereotype that I think is very strong in America. But I was surprised by how much they drink after work. Like they drink to the point where they just sleep on the sidewalk. Like I remember one time I was walking home and there's like these bushes outside of my house and there was just a salaryman asleep in the bushes. So just seeing them drink so hard after, and it's like every day too. It's not sometimes, it's like every day after work they go and they drink like all the beers, they go do their nomikai or whatever, and they drink all the beers and then they sleep on the sidewalk and then they get up the next day and go back to work. And that was,
they take a shower?
yeah, that's a good question. And I don't want to think about that. Yeah.
There you go, okay.
Okay, so I said Japanese people are workaholics and extremely efficient. So I was really surprised also that Japan has so many national holidays, and I learned that's because otherwise people will just like work every day of their life, I think. And also they're super efficient. What I mean by that, especially like construction, like in America, like when construction projects happen, they take like forever, especially road construction. It'll take like over a year for like a small stretch of road, and like in Japan, you'll put up a whole highway in half the time, like. So people are just workaholics and super efficient with their jobs.
Okay, is there any other things that you guys are surprised, like after coming to Japan?
So,
Please, yes.
people show up to house parties on time. So I was having this conversation with my students like last week, and we were talking about customs and cultures, and we were talking about like house parties, like dinner parties at people's houses, and I was asking my students, I was like, well, what time do you show up? Like if the host says 7 o'clock, they're like, I show up at 7, which was really surprising to me because in America, if someone tells you, oh, the dinner party starts at 7, if you show up at like 7:10, you're still too early. You need to show up at like 7:15 or 7:20 so as not to be rude because the host is probably not ready at 7. So yeah, they arrive on time, whereas Americans, I guess, are fashionably late.
Is it just Texas or America?
America, right?
I don't know.
Is it a southern thing?
It might be a southern thing.
I don't know, because my mom's always like, okay, we can't be the first ones there. Being the first ones there is like it's not something you want to do.
You help them set up.
Oh, what? Why would you?
Yeah,
No,
really
it's
help them
not. I'm the guest.
What about southern hospitality?
Well, no. I'll bring a side dish. That's my southern hospitalities. I bring a side dish, but I'm not gonna help you set up in your own. That's awkward. That's your job.
Thank you. Your turn now.
Okay, I have a couple, because there's a lot of things surprising in Japan. So no PDA, public displays of affection. So when I started dating my husband, like after our first date, I went to like hug him when we parted ways on the subway, and he kind of like pushed me away, and I'm like, whoa, oh my god, he hates me. But no, in Japan, like kissing in public and hugging in public is kind of like a no-no for a lot of Japanese people, and also Japanese pronunciations, makurunarudo and godiva. We say McDonald's and Godiva. So it's really awkward for me whenever I hear the Japanese pronunciations of those companies.
IKEA.
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 Actually, IKEA is correct. My manager's Swedish and he says IKEA, so I guess that's correct.
Or-
We say IKEA, but yours is correct.
Or what about like Aladdin?
Like
The Disney movie, Aladdin?
Aladdin.
Aladdin? It took me forever to figure out what people were talking about.
So next question is gonna be: is there anything that when you look at Japanese and make you guys feel worried about them?
Worried about Japanese
Yes,
people?
Yes, worried about Japanese people.
In what way?
Anything when you look, are they okay or are they gonna be okay?
Oh, okay.
Okay, please.
So first one is working too much. It goes back to that stereotype of like people are workaholics. The last guy I dated, he told me, he's like, oh, I don't even have time to eat or sleep. I'm like, what? You don't have time to eat or sleep? How are you alive? Like, that's not okay. Like, you need to calm down, first of all, and think about, and this kind of goes to the second point, is they don't take care of their mental health. Like, therapy isn't a super popular thing here. Whereas therapy in the US, I think more and more people, it's becoming normalized, taking care of your mental health, or I take a day off of school just because I don't feel good. I need to take mental health days, and Japanese people, they don't think about their mental health. They're always just working. And then this kind of goes, it's all connected, right? And then they drink too much, right? Because they're working too much, they're not taking care of their mental health, they're drinking too much, they pass out on the street. I get really worried for the salarymen I see on the street. What if someone takes their wallet or their phone? Or what if they get run over by a bicycle? I don't know. So it's just a lot of, I think it stems to the working too much, and then it kind of goes down from there. But yeah, I worry.
Thank you. Okay, your turn now.
So I said people falling asleep on the subway. So Japanese people actually have this superpower where they can fall asleep on the subway and wake up exactly at their stop. But every time I see somebody just totally passed out snoring on the subway, I'm like, oh man, they're gonna end up in some inaka and they're gonna miss their last train and they're gonna be having a bad time. But usually it's okay. And then the other thing I also said also has to do with subways. No one giving up seats for pregnant or old people. Especially, it is really shocking for me, the priority seats, especially sometimes I'll see high schoolers or younger people sitting in them, and there will be super old people with canes or really pregnant women, and nobody offers their seat. I don't know if people just don't want to get involved or pretend they don't see them, but it's really disconcerting because I think in America, on buses and stuff, you'll at least have somebody that'll offer, at least one person. It's concerning.
This is gonna be last question. Okay, so that last question is, what is Japanese to you guys?
What is Japanese?
Yes.
This is an existential.
Oh my god.
Okay, please.
Okay. So I wrote historical meets technological. So Japan's kind of in this weird place where they have such a rich history that's still alive. You have castles that are hundreds and hundreds of years old, older than America. And then, you have the Shinkansen, and they're kind of in the same spot. You can ride the Shinkansen and drive through these historical places. Or even in Tokyo, you can have a traditional tea shop or a traditional soba shop next to a manga cafe or internet cafe or something. It's this kind of weird juxtaposition, but that it works. And only a way that Japan can do it, I think.
Good. Your turn now.
So I said a traditional but strange-centric culture, and I also said stay weird Japan, never change for anyone. Japan is this wonderful amalgamation of other cultures, or its interpretation of other cultures like Italy, America, and it's not quite right, it's just Japan's take on it, and they made it its own thing. And it's also super traditional, and you can just find weird things in Japan, like corn flavored chocolate, I don't know, otter cat made cafes. You can just find the strangest, most unique things here that you cannot find anywhere else in the world, and I think that's just really special.
Mayo on pizza, right?
No.
It was very interesting to be able to hear how Americans see Japanese people and Japanese culture. Thank you so much for coming here today, and looking forward to seeing you guys in the next video. Thank you. Bye bye.
Bye bye. Bye bye.
実は転職しまして、で上司も外国人、もう嫌顔でも英語を使わなければいけない、その危機感に駆られたのが英会話を始めるきっかけです。仕事につながる英会話を学ぶことができて、とにかく楽しい。どんなに仕事に疲れててもまた行きたくなる。単なる英語を学ぶっていう場所ではないんですよね。仕事をもっと頑張れるパワーの源です。
Relax and enjoy. ワンコイングリッシュ。